The P-51 Mustang is not just an airplane. It is a legend that carved its place into history with courage, precision, and ingenuity. Its story begins in 1940, when the world teetered on the brink of chaos. Europe was engulfed in war, and the United States, though still officially neutral, was already preparing to face the most advanced air forces in the world. The Army Air Forces needed a fighter that could escort bombers deep into enemy territory, challenge the Luftwaffe, and survive long-range missions over hostile skies. North American aviation answered the call with a design that would become one of the most iconic aircraft of all time, the P-51 Mustang. The first prototypes were powered by Allison engines, giving excellent low-altitude performance but leaving them vulnerable at high altitudes, where most air combat over Europe occurred. The early tests revealed both promise and limitation. The Mustang was fast, sleek, and maneuverable, but it lacked the power to challenge the Luftwaffe's best fighters in the skies over Germany. British engineers suggested fitting the aircraft with a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. And suddenly, the Mustang transformed. Its speed, climb rate, and high-altitude performance became unparalleled. Pilots were astonished. A fighter that could escort bombers from England to Berlin, engage enemy fighters, and survive the harrowing journey home by late 1943. The first Mustang B and C models reached the 8th Air Force in England. Young American pilots, many barely out of their teens, were now armed with a plane that could tilt the balance of the air war in their favor. The first combat missions were tense, terrifying, and unforgettable. Pilots like George Preddy and John C. Meyer flew with a mix of excitement and fear as they approached enemy territory. Tracers streaked through the clouds, anti-aircraft fire erupted below, and German fighters lurked above, waiting for a mistake. Every decision had life-or-death consequences. One of the most dramatic early missions involved escorting a formation of B-17 bombers over the industrial heart of Germany. The Mustangs, flying in tight formations, kept vigilant eyes on the skies. Suddenly, a squadron of Bf-19s dove from above, intent on destroying the bombers before they could reach their target. The Mustang pilots had trained for this, yet no amount of preparation could erase the sheer terror of combat. In seconds, the sky became a chaotic ballet of fire and smoke. Mustang pilots executed their maneuvers with precision, diving, rolling, and weaving through enemy fire. Guns roared as the P-51S fired in calculated bursts, cutting through the German fighters and forcing them to retreat. That day, dozens of bombers returned safely, and several Luftwaffe aircraft were destroyed. The Mustang had proven its worth. Beyond their impressive performance, the Mustangs reshaped air combat tactics. Pilots discovered that speed and high-altitude capability allowed for unprecedented flexibility. Devant climb attacks, head-on passes, and coordinated wing maneuvers became standard strategies. One pilot, Bud Anderson, recalled an encounter over Frankfurt. "We dove like hawks, the enemy scattering below. You had to trust the Mustang, trust yourself, and act faster than your fear." These split-second decisions define the Mustang experience. Pilots were not merely flying machines. They were part of a living, breathing strategy of survival and dominance. The Mustang's impact extended beyond individual engagements. During the bombing campaigns of 1944, its long-range capability meant that American bombers were no longer defenseless as they penetrated deep into Germany. The P-51s became their shields, their sword, and their lifeline. Statistical reports show that after Mustangs joined the escort missions, bomber losses dropped significantly, while enemy fighter losses climbed. Each mission was a calculation of risk, skill, and bravery. Every Mustang in the air contributed to an evolving pattern of dominance that would shape the final year of the war. Individual stories of heroism abound. George Preddy, flying his Mustang in countless sorties, demonstrated extraordinary skill, racking up dozens of confirmed kills. Charles McDonald, another ace, described the plane as an extension of the pilot's body, responsive, deadly, and unrelenting. Yet the human element always remained central. Pilots faced exhaustion, fear, and the relentless pressure of combat. They relied on training, instinct, and the extraordinary capabilities of the P-51 to survive. Every maneuver, from a high-speed dive to a tight turn, was a blend of skill and courage. The Mustang's technical evolution mirrored the intensity of its operational history. The P-51D, the most widely produced variant, featured bubble canopies for better visibility, improved armament, and refined aerodynamics. It could reach speeds exceeding 440 miles per hour, carry drop tanks for extended range, and sustain long missions without sacrificing performance. Engineers constantly refined the aircraft, responding to feedback from pilots who demanded improvements in control, visibility, and combat effectiveness. These adaptations were critical to maintaining air superiority in the ever-evolving theaters of world. War II. Missions over Germany, Italy, and the Pacific demonstrated the Mustang's versatility. In the Pacific theater, pilots escorted bombers over vast distances, engaged Japanese Zeros, and provided crucial air support for ground operations. In Europe, Mustangs attacked enemy airfields, protected bombers, and engaged in dogfights that became legendary. Each theater tested the aircraft differently, yet in every scenario, the Mustang excelled. Its combination of speed, range, maneuverability, and firepower made it one of the most effective fighters of the war. Behind every statistic and technical specification was a human story. Pilots like Robin Olds, who later became a legend in his own right, reflected on the Mustang's role. It wasn't just the plane, it was the men flying it, the trust in each other, and the ability to execute under pressure that made it extraordinary. Reports from airfields, mission debriefs, and personal letters reveal the intensity, fear, and exhilaration experienced by Mustang pilots. These accounts bring the aircraft to life not just as a machine, but as a catalyst for courage and innovation. Even the Germans took notice. Luftwaffe reports frequently mention the Mustang's performance, noting its speed, high-altitude capabilities, and deadly firepower. Enemy pilots were forced to adapt tactics, change engagement strategies, and respect the Americans in ways they hadn't before. The Mustang didn't just protect bombers. It forced a shift in the dynamics of air combat, giving the Allies an advantage that grew with each sortie. The Mustang story is also one of evolution and adaptation. Engineers continually improved the aircraft, responding to combat experience and pilot feedback. Modifications included better engines, advanced propellers, reinforced structures, and enhanced armament. Each upgrade reflected lessons learned in the skies over Europe and the Pacific. The aircraft was a living project, evolving with the war and responding to the challenges faced by the men who flew it. By the end of the war, the P-51 Mustang had flown thousands of missions, destroyed countless enemy aircraft, and protected the lives of thousands of Allied airmen. Its impact was undeniable, and its legacy enduring. Historians, engineers, and pilots continue to study its design and performance, recognizing that it represents the perfect combination of human ingenuity and courage under fire. The P-51 Mustang was more than a machine. It was a symbol of American determination, technological excellence, and the extraordinary bravery of the young men who risked everything in the skies over Europe and the Pacific. Its legacy endures in museums, air shows, and the hearts of those who honor its history. Each sortie, each dogfight, and each mission is a testament to the enduring partnership between pilot and plane, a story of courage, skill, and the relentless pursuit of victory. The P-51 Mustang remains a timeless legend. It is remembered not only for its speed, firepower, and agility, but for the stories of the pilots who made it a weapon of unmatched effectiveness. From its creation to its decisive role in World War II, it represents the intersection of human skill, daring, and technological brilliance. Its story is not just about planes or battles. It is about the men who flew them, the decisions they made, and the courage they displayed every time they took to the skies. Even decades later, the Mustang inspires awe. Air shows feature its sleek form, cutting through the sky. Aviation enthusiasts study its design, marvel at its capabilities, and honor the pilots who flew it. The P-51 Mustang is not merely an aircraft. It is a living monument to the ingenuity, bravery, and determination that defined a generation and changed the course of history.